First and foremost, before we get started, I like to give all praises and honor and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shah, Ba'ashem, Rekah Kwadash, and double honors to those great millstone, while unto his truth, and also to those elect that are scattered abroad. I like to say, Shalom. Come back here today with another great and powerful lesson through the spirit and the power of Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shah. And the title of today's lesson is News and Prophecies, the Coming Tokens. So I like to say shalom to all our listeners and learners. Hope this will help you today and guide you back in the path of righteousness and back to your true power, which in fact is Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shah. So before we start today's lesson, I have a few news articles, but we'll start here first with the one by CBS News. We'll read a little of this. It says, earthquake that struck New Jersey on Saturday rattled nerves locally and many miles away. It says here, the U.S. Geological Survey confirmed a 3.0 magnitude earthquake rocked Hasbrook Heights in Bergen County, New Jersey at around 10:45 p.m. on Saturday. Said no injuries or structural damage was reported, but the earthquake caught everyone off guard. So officials said the quake was felt up to 100 miles away from the epicenter. It says including in parts of the eastern Pennsylvania, New York, lower Hudson Valley, and western Connecticut. Says some said they felt trembles in New York City. So right here, it says so a lot of people, they was unaware. These things are constantly picking up. That's why I called today's lesson the coming tokens, the coming prophecies, the signs of the times. They're here, they're right before our eyes. So let's get this next report. So we constantly seeing these things are constantly picking up left and right. It's another report I want to get right quick. If I can pull it up, it's another one right here about this right here. We knowing that they had it was an earthquake also in Russia, I think a couple of days ago. That, it was a domino effect. Now all of a sudden, this volcano right here, it awakened. It said it had been lying dormant for over 600 years, and all of a sudden now it has erupted. So, hey man, you cannot tell that we're living in the end time. Then you're in for a rude awakening, because these things are popping off just like clockwork. So let's get this first report here. Let's get this one here by New York Times. Here it says long dormant Russian volcano erupts, said for the first time in centuries. So right here, we beginning to see a lot of things are constantly picking up left and right. The coming tokens, signs of the time. They're here. They're right in front of our eyes. And who told you about them first? Starting with the apostles and elders, a great millstone on down. You have been well warned. We constantly warn you about this. Earthquakes in diverse places, left and right. Why are all of these volcanoes are waking up all of a sudden? And we constantly seeing these eruptions left and right. I did several reports on this, but right now we seeing them, they coming just left and right. The birth pain, we're seeing that we're here. So let's get a little of this report. It says long dormant Russian volcano erupts for the first time in centuries. Said the eruption of the crushed Nidofakov, I'm hoping I'm saying it right, volcano. So on Saturday, on Sunday in Russia, Far East came after a series of seismic events this past week. Said on the Kamchatka, I'm hoping I'm saying that right, peninsula. So that's what we're gonna get with that. These are Russian words, but through the spirit, I hope you can receive it. But we're seeing right here that this was a long dormant Russian volcano erupts for the first time in century. I think they said over 600 years. Right here, they got that. It's showing it right here. I'm gonna see where I can get it to play right here. It said Russian volcano erupts for the first time in century. Let's see, can we get it to play? Might not even play. There we go. You're seeing right here that the Lord's bringing all these pillars of smoke. So we go to Joel chapter too. You know, these things are happening right there. Plus, Nineveh. I think that's the name of that. But I got a video that pronounces it the correct way. But you see that we're here, man. You know, and these things are right before our eyes. So that's all we're gonna get of this report here. We're gonna go to the next one now. Let's go here. There's things I'm constantly seeing. We constantly warn you about earthquakes and diverse places. We're constantly warning you about evil time, or ill time, Jacob's trouble. Also, we warn you about that what the MOTB, a great economic collapse. So these things are coming right before our eyes. Also, we know that war is constantly brewing. We knowing. Let's get this next report here. It says here. We know that war is constantly brewing because we already right here. Let's read it. We don't want to jump the gun. This one here by Newsbreak. It said Trump says U.S. is totally prepared for nuclear attack after moving nuke subs closer to Russia in warning to Putin. So right here, you know, we're seeing that nations are rising against nations. We're seeing that the heathens are raging left and right. So we already knowing that it's already reports that America is getting ready to go to war with Russia, the bear. They keep poking the bear and they get ready to F around and find out. We're not going to read too much of this. We know that it's going to be a escalation. You know, these things are constantly picking up left and right. And also, Putin said that they are ready to answer this threat that America is, you know, saying that they are getting ready. You know, it's already reports that, you know, they constantly setting the stage for World War III. So we're pretty much at the end of these proxy wars. So we get ready to see the major players that get ready to come on the scene. Russia, China, you know what I'm saying, America, you know what I'm saying, Israel, Iran. Just like the Bible said, things are lining up just like clockwork, the coming tokens, the signs of the time, the prophecy. They're speaking loud and clear. Let's read this once again. It said Trump says U.S. is totally prepared for nuclear attacks after moving nukes or nuclear submarines closer to Russia in warning to Putin. So he constantly been poking the bear left and right. So one thing about it, we already know that America is the world bully. You know what I'm saying? The hammer of the whole earth. One thing about it now, these nations are not afraid of America anymore. You know, they see that America has become weak. And one thing about it, we already know that this devil is getting ready to come down with great wrath. That's another one I want to get right quick. Let me see, can I pull it up? It's another one. Let's see, can I get it? Shoot, can't get it. It was about Taiwan. I don't know if I can pull it up. And maybe I could pull it up. I don't know. But we might just leave it at that. But also it was saying reports that China is getting ready. I had another report here somewhere. This is it right here. Let's see, can I pull it up? Phone always act up when you bring out the truth. It says here, China military pressures near Taiwan said is up 300%, said what it means for the U.S. So one thing about it, we know that we're very close. We're just going to open it up. I'm not going to do a whole lot of reading. I got videos to bring it out. It said China military pressure near Taiwan said is up 300%. So what it means for the U.S. So we're saying we're very close. More increased military activity. Let's just get a little bit of it. This is the news break, and this Newsbreak is an article by The Hill. It says a top U.S. military commander warned lawmakers over China significantly increased military activity near Taiwan, calling the action a rehearsal for an impending invasion. So at some point, we know that China is going to make an attempt to go into Taiwan. We already knowing that America will get involved. You know, a lot of things are constantly happening. We know that, you know, they're talking about going to war with Russia, talking about with China. We already know what's getting ready to happen. America is, you know, in their last days, in the last stages of this wicked queendom. It's almost over. We see it right now. We're very close. You know, Ezekiel chapter 38 wars getting ready to come into play. The wars to end all war, which in fact is World War III, the last and final war right before the great and glorious return of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. We are very close to these times. We're living in some very perilous times, also some exciting times. Our salvation is at the door. So we see it right here that we are so very close. We're so very excited. So now let's get a quick precept before we start today's video. Let's go here first to to Jeremiah chapter 51 in the blue letter, and we'll start up at verse 45. It says here, "My people, go ye out of the midst of her, and deliver ye every man his soul from the fierce anger of the Lord." And out about, flee ye out of the midst of what? Of Babylon. You know what I'm saying? What? Spiritually, you know what I'm saying? Come out of that mindset and come out of that total subjection to Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahushua. Wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of the time. Your faith is getting ready to be tried. And also we know that the Lord will be a stronghold in times of trouble for the elect, the true believers of Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahushua. Let's read it in NLT. Verse 45 said, "Come out, my people, flee from Babylon." And Babylon, you know what I'm saying, is AK America, you know what I'm saying? It says, "Save yourself." It said, "Run from the Lord's fierce anger." And out about, we're gonna run into that secret place, you know what I'm saying, that shall sustain us, shall be a stronghold in times of trouble. The Lord said he will provide for it. The Lord will sustain us. And also the Lord is getting ready to come to deliver us with great glory and great power. Flee out of the midst of Babylon, because the Lord is getting ready to bring forth judgment like you have never seen before. This place is getting ready to be totally destroyed. Verse 46 said, "Unless your heart faint, and ye fear for the rumor that shall be heard in the land, say, and a rumor shall both come 1 year, and after that in another year shall come a rumor, and violence in the land, rulers against rulers." So that's exactly what we constantly hear, rumors after rumor. But the Lord said these things must first come to pass, but the end is not yet. These birth pains, the beginning of sorrow, great mourning, great persecution, great sorrow is right before our eyes. The men of the Lord will constantly warn you. And also we know that the famine of the word is fast approaching. So at some point, the Lord is getting ready to execute judgment like you have never seen before. So hey, let's read it. Let's read Jeremiah chapter 51 and verse 46, Salaki, verse 46 in the NLT. And it says here, it said, "But do not panic." Said, "Don't be afraid." Said, "When you hear the first rumor of approaching forces." Said, "For rumors will keep coming year by year. Violence will erupt in the land as the leaders fight against each other." So this is spot on. This is exactly what we're seeing. So we constantly seeing rumors that talking about America is getting ready to go to war with Russia. Or they keep saying they're getting ready to go to war with China, back and forth right now. The Lord said these things will come to pass. You know what I'm saying? Don't be afraid. Trust and believe in Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushua. So one thing about it, we knowing that the coming tokens, they're right before our eyes. We're seeing that the end is being manifest, being revealed. It's obvious and clear that we're living in the end time, real time. So now let's start today's video. And after the video, we'll start the lesson. And I hope that you will get edified.
Being felt all across the tri-state area tonight. Good evening, I'm Alan Devlin. That earthquake struck shortly before 10:30 tonight, and it was centered near the town of Hasbrook Heights in Bergen County. And preliminarily, data shows that it had a magnitude of 3.0. Moments ago, the New York City Office of Emergency Management sent out this post on social media saying they're monitoring the situation. At this point, there are no reports of any damage or injuries. Let's get right over to meteorologist Vanessa Murdoch for the very latest on this quake. Vanessa, what can you tell us here?
Well, a few things that I think are of interest. First and foremost, this has been not a regular occurrence, but we've certainly felt similar earthquakes before in recent years. The depth of this quake, 6 miles, the magnitude, as mentioned, 3. The number of seismic stations that picked up on the Earth's movement, 30. And this precise time of the quake, 10:18. Now, the USGS also puts out a map of who felt it. And we check out this map, all the blue boxes indicate somebody reporting that they felt the earth move. With regard to all of the shades of light blue and purple, this is indicative of weak to light shaking, but no reports of any damage. And I did an estimate of just about how far away people have felt it. And right now it's about 60 miles away. Some felt the movement here. And these reports will continue to roll on in as the night progresses. And also the data regarding the quake itself will change as the hours go on. As mentioned, we're not completely unfamiliar with earthquakes. Here are some other notable quakes. 4.8 back on April 5th, just last year. 2020 at 3.4, 2.9 on February the 3rd of 2000. 2009. But of course, the record quake in New Jersey, 5.3. This was November the 29th of 1783. Far removed from that tonight with our 3.0, but certainly something a lot of people are going to be talking about and probably are at present. We'll talk about what you can expect from the atmosphere moving forward in your first alert forecast. We've got some beautiful weather on tap in just a bit.
Oh, wait a minute. What's going on in New Jersey and New York? They had just reported that an earthquake had hit New Jersey and New York. So a lot of people said this kind of caught them off guard. They was looking like, is this really an earthquake going on? Like the ground shaking? Wait a minute, y'all. Now, y'all remember just a few days ago, like not even a few days ago, about 2 days ago, New York was just flooding. Now, what is really going on, y'all? It's something going on that they're not telling us. And I really want to know because what's going on in New York? A 3.6 earthquake has hit New Jersey, New York. Yo, this is too much going on, y'all. I can't even keep up. What is going on? These people say this done. They kind of scared. They nervous. They was like, I'm seeing people videos and they like hit a shaking and like, oh my God, like it just came out of nowhere, just out the blue. Y'all.
All right, this is Uncle Mooch, and I want to let you guys know that there's no longer a proxy war between America and Russia. We're at the brink, probably that close to almost war with Russia. Donald Trump has moved 2 nuclear submarines, as well as we have a 5-star general. Let's count them: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5-star general saying that they have already rehearsed taking Leningrad. They have already rehearsed, and they said that they could do it in record amount of time. So, I don't know. And
a volcano that has been silent since the 1400s has just exploded back to life in Russia's Far East. Krasheninnikov, located on the seismically volatile Kamchatka Peninsula, erupted overnight for the first time in more than 500 years. A huge ash plume shot 6 kilometers into the sky, catching local observers and scientists completely off guard. This violent awakening came just days after a magnitude 8.8 earthquake tore through the same region. That massive seismic jolt rocked the crust along Kamchatka's Pacific edge, sending shockwaves through volcanic systems that had remained dormant for centuries. The timing is critical. Krasheninnikov's reactivation so soon after one of the strongest earthquakes in modern Russian history points to a larger geologic chain reaction underway. The same tectonic stress that triggered the quake appears to have fractured ancient magma chambers, releasing the intense pressure now erupting to the surface. Powerful aftershocks are still rattling the area. With other volcanoes nearby already under observation, Russian scientists are now warning this could be part of a much wider pattern of destabilization. Kamchatka is...
So a volcano that Russian scientists say has been dormant for 600 years erupts overnight in eastern Russia. The huge eruption sent plumes hundreds of feet in the air, and then hours later triggered another earthquake that set off more tsunami warnings. So scientists believe that this has been caused by last week's 8.8 earthquake that sent the tsunami warnings off. And if you didn't hear by now, and if you're in New Jersey and didn't know what that was last night, there was a sonic boom and an earthquake that shook part of New Jersey last night. So I say all that to say this: Mother Nature, Father Nature, whoever flying those drones everywhere, they tired of what we got going on down here. I mean, you got wildfires burning up everything. You got the Texas floods. It'll just rain for an hour and then you'll have a torrential flood. You got weeks-long heat waves, 100+ degrees from the west coast to the east coast. Volcanoes and tornadoes in New Jersey. 600-year-old volcanoes erupting overnight. It's right in front of us. We better get it right. We better do something right.
Why are volcanoes waking up all over the world? And all at once. Mount Rainier just had its largest earthquake swarm in over a decade. Taal in the Philippines exploded overnight. Iceland ripped open with a 2-kilometer fissure, spewing lava like it was the end of days. And Mauna Loa? It's rumbling again. Almost exactly 75 years after its last destructive eruption, which destroyed homes and crossed highways in less than a day. But it doesn't stop there. In Russia, the Klyuchevskoy volcano is spilling lava so violently it can be seen from space. The ash trail stretching 1,000 miles. Japan's Sakurajima is hurling ash 6,000 feet into the sky. Costa Rica's Poás is bubbling with acid clouds. And in Iceland, scientists say we've officially entered a new volcanic era. This isn't normal. In fact, over 44 volcanoes are erupting as you watch this. From the Pacific Ring of Fire to the African Rift Zone. From Alaska to Indonesia, volcanoes that have been quiet for decades, even centuries, are suddenly stirring. So what's really going on? Scientists...
We have major breaking news right now. JP Morgan is officially predicting a recession in 2025 in this year because of Donald Trump's tariffs, because of how badly the market is reacting. The Dow Jones dropped 2,000 points today. Folks, that's only happened 4 times in American history. The S&P 500 lost more than $5 trillion worth of value. Investors are nervous. Investors are scared, and they're conducting mass sell-offs right now in the stock market. And JP Morgan, one of the largest banks on Wall Street, is now predicting that the United States will enter a recession this year. Now, what that means for you, that means that there will be layoffs at jobs. That means that the hiring market will slow down. That means things will cost more when you go to the grocery store, when you go to buy electronics, when you go to buy a vehicle. We're not there just yet, but we're very close, and it looks like we're going to get there. I'll provide you updates every step.
So we're seeing right now that, the prophecies are here, the coming token. So we're seeing these things that happen left and right, one thing behind another, seeing these strange events that's happening, volcanoes erupting all over the world, earthquakes in diverse places, heat wave, tornadoes, storms, one event behind another, great economic collapse. There's already a dark forecast on that, the end of the dollar. A lot of things that happen. The introduction of this MOTB. A lot of things are coming down the pipeline. So now let's start here first. We'll get a few precepts and we'll close out. And once again, it's obvious and clear that we are here in the last day. The signs of the times are here. The Lord is visiting the earth that he created. Let's go here first to Mark. We'll get a few and we'll close out. Mark chapter 13. Mark chapter 13, we'll start up at verse 7. Mark chapter 13 and verse 7. And it reads, And when ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars, be ye not troubled, for such things must need be, but the end shall not be yet. So we right here now at the beginning of sorrow, just like when you go to Matthew 24, the Lord was telling you what will happen right before his great and glorious return. So we're here, man. These things are happening. It says in the NLT, said, and you will hear of wars and threats of wars. Said, but don't panic. Yes, these things must take place, but the end won't follow immediately, but it is coming. We know that we're very close. Verse 8, it says here, for nation shall rise against nation and kingdom against kingdom. So, and there shall be earthquakes in diverse places, and there shall be famines and troubles. So these are the beginning of sorrow. So we are in the birth pains right now. They're happening right before our eyes. All sorts of things are happening. That's what we're constantly warning you about. Left and right, warning before destruction. We're seeing that these prophecies are getting stronger and stronger. They're getting closer and closer. It's obvious and clear that we're here. We're living in the last day, and we're ready to get out of here. We're ready to get out of this nightmare. We cannot wait. So now we see these rumors of wars are all over the place. Let's go here to Revelation chapter 11, just random scriptures. And once again, man, this is where we're at. We'll sound like a broken record, but hey, man, these are the time that we're living in, How long, O Lord? Revelation chapter 11 and verse 14 said, the second woe is past, and behold, the third woe come quickly, and woe goes into destruction. We know it about World War II. It has passed. The third will come quickly. What is coming quickly? The last and final war. The wars to end all wars. You know what I'm saying? The World War III. We are very close to that nuclear exchange, but we know what first must come first is that introduction of that MOTB, that grain of rice. So we are so very close. That last video was telling you about this, warning you about a recession, a stock market crash, that great crashing in the hills. So we're very close to that time. So we know that the dollar is getting ready to be obsolete. Let's go here to Ezekiel. Let's go here to Ezekiel chapter 7. Let's go here. We're going to go straight to the point. Ezekiel chapter 7 and Ezekiel chapter 7. And we'll scroll down to verse, I think it's 19. Ezekiel chapter 7 and verse 19. And it reads that they shall cast their silver in the streets, and their gold shall be removed. Their silver and their gold shall not be able to deliver them in the day of the wrath of the Lord. They shall not satisfy their soul, neither fill their bowels, because it is a stumbling block of their iniquity. So we coming upon this time where no matter what you have, a lot of people still think that they're good K. They're talking about a lot of people that got into this Bitcoin and this cryptocurrency, but it's not going to save you. You know what I'm saying? If you're not a part of the election, you're going to be totally destroyed. One thing about it is that, we're at the end of an age, end of an eon. And one thing about it, we know that we are in a transition of power. We're seeing it happening right before our eyes. So they saying that, it's rumors that they're saying that by October, some part of October, that they're getting ready to change over into this new financial system, get ready to go into this new blockchain technology, this blockchain system, where it's going to be have you under surveillance, tracking, tagging. A lot of these things are coming into play. So one thing about it, a lot of people going to think that they're going to be a good K, but there's going to be a stumbling block of their iniquity. The Lord's getting ready to destroy this place. And one thing about it is that, a lot of people are getting ready to find out. The Lord's getting ready to bring forth that judgment like we have never seen before. So now let's get this one right quick and we'll close out. Let's go here to Ezekiel. I think it's in Isaiah, Salakia. It's Isaiah chapter 34. Let's go straight to the point, because the Lord is, he's getting ready to bring forth that indignation, to all these nations. The Lord is gathering the nation for the controversy of Zion. Ezekiel chapter 34, and we'll start up at verse 1. Ezekiel chapter 34, it says here, said God's wrath against the nation. So that's where we at. The Lord is getting ready to bring forth that wrath. The Lord's getting ready to bring forth that judgment. Recompense and judgment is upon us. Isaiah chapter 34 and verse 1 said, come near, ye nations, to hear, and hearken, ye people, let the earth hear, and all that is therein, said the world and all things that come forth of it. Verse 2, here's the point, said, for the indignation of the Lord is upon all nations, and his fury is upon all their armies. Say, he has utterly destroyed them. Say, he has delivered them to the slaughter. So that's what the Lord is getting ready to do, you know what I'm saying, in the valley of Jehoshaphat. When you go to Joel chapter 3, you know what I'm saying, one thing about it is what we're seeing is constantly lining up. The Lord is moving the chess pieces around. That's why we got to get our house in order. Get your mind right. Get up your loins, because the Lord is getting ready to bring it forth, a time of trouble that we have never seen before. So the indignation of the Lord, that righteous anger, is upon all nations. Also, the 2/3. First my judgment will start at the house of Israel. So the Lord is getting ready to bring it forth. At the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, it shall surely come. So now let's go to our last and final script. Let's go here to 2 Ezra chapter 14. 2 Ezra chapter 14, we'll close out here. 2 Ezra chapter 14, and we'll start up around, I think it's a verse 13, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, 2 Ezra chapter 14, and we'll read down. 2 Ezra chapter 14 and verse 13. It said, now therefore set thy house in order, and reprove thy people. So comfort such of them as be in trouble, and now renounce corruption. You know what I'm saying? What matter of person that you ought to be? Get your house, get yourself in order, get your family in order. One thing about it, then renounce corruption. Go out, you know what I'm saying? You tell them, hey, repent. You know, the door of repentance is closing. You know, it's time to get everything together. You know, get yourself together. Examine yourself. Because we're coming upon these times. And one thing about it, when the Lord show up with this judgment, there will be no more talking. Verse 14 said, let go from thee mortal thoughts. Cast away the burdens of man. Put off now the weak nature. So one thing about it, you're going to be totally spiritual. You know what I'm saying? Wisdom and knowledge should be the stability of the time. And one thing about it, you know what I'm saying? You know, just cast away these mortal thoughts. You know what I'm saying? You got to put on the whole armor of Yahweh Ba'ashim Abishai. The only thing that will sustain you in times of trouble. Your faith and your works getting ready to be tried. I'm telling you right now, we're coming upon some very, very dangerous time. And the only way you will escape if you're part of that election. And one thing about it, that's what we come to warn. Let go from the mortal thoughts. Cast away the burdens of man. Put off now the weak nature. You know what I'm saying? One thing about it, you know, if you weak, you soft, you're feminine. You know what I'm saying? You're afraid to speak out. The Lord is going to destroy you. That's what we constantly warning you about, left and right. If you're unbeliever, you're going to be destroyed. You know, if you are saying that this ain't going to happen, that ain't going to, you're going to be destroyed. One thing about it, the Lord is getting ready to make it perfectly clear who he is dealing with when these times of trouble come. The elect, when we get ready to get tried as gold is tried in the fire. Verse 15 said, and set aside the thoughts that are most heavy unto thee, and haste thee to flee from these times. And one thing about it, you know, how do we flee from these times? You know, spiritually, you know what I'm saying? You have the right mindset. Ask the Lord to camp the angels around. That's what we coming upon these times, man. Flee from these times. You know what I'm saying? Man, we tell them we're here. Verse 16 said, for yet greater evils than those which thou hast seen happen shall be done hereafter. You know, it's a time of trouble that we have never seen before. Jacob's trouble, the hour of temptation is coming, man. It's evil time. Verse 17 said, for look how much the world shall be weaker through age, so much the more shall evils increase upon them that dwell therein. So evils is constantly increasing left and right. That's why you got to be circumspect. You know what I'm saying? Left and right. Redeem the time wisely, because the days are evil. You know, we're seeing that we're here and knowing what the Lord will is, man. We are so very close, man. Verse 18, it said, for the time is fled, said, far away, and leasing or lying is hard at hand. Said, for now hasten the vision, the prophecy, the tokens, the signs of the time to come, said, which thou hast seen. So one thing about it, the Lord is getting ready to show up and show out. And one thing about it, we knowing that these prophecies are right before our eyes. We almost at that said measure. And one thing about it, we already knowing that, you know, these things are constantly increasing. The plagues are not slacking down. We're seeing that things are happening one behind another. A lot of people beginning to know that, hey, something is happening. We're very close. You know, we're right upon war. We're right upon all hell breaking loose. And the body count is getting ready to be great. The Lord's getting ready to come back. The Lord said, I come not to bring peace, but a sword. And one thing about it, the Lord's getting ready to come quickly. Behold, I come quickly, and my reward is with me. Our salvation is at the door. We're very excited. You know, Kwam Yasarala. We are very close. So now, the title of the day lesson, once again, is News and Prophecies, the Coming Tokens. So I'd like to give all praises and honor and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rekah Kwadash. I like to say, Shalom, Shalom.